Alright, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today, man, I feel kind of obligated to speak out about something that I saw unfold over on Twitter over the last 12 or so hours, and the pictures that I've seen are pretty horrifying, to be honest with you, because it really isn't that many situations where you can justify something like this happening, and even though it was attempted to be justified in this situation, I feel like it just all needs to be talked about now. Unfortunately, this does revolve around somebody that we have covered here on the channel before. This is Kai Weiss, who is a commentator slash YouTuber who has basically always just been known for being in drama. Well, Kai has taken everything way too far this time, and it needs to be talked about because this guy is an absolute scumbag, and what you're about to hear, this whole story, will probably solidify that in your mind too. It really isn't that many people who can defend what he's doing because what he did was virtually completely indefensible. I mean, from everything that's been provided so far, I can find no justifiable reason for him to behave the way that he has. And in typical Kai Weiss fashion, his basic response is to try and manipulate the conversation, to try and basically stretch people's words to say shit that doesn't really matter, and then of course to just delete his Twitter and YouTube and everything when everything goes down and he doesn't get the reaction that he wants. So let me do a quick background on who this Kai Weiss is for you guys, if you missed my video talking about this guy. I talked about this guy a few weeks, maybe a few months ago at this point. I don't really remember exactly when it was, but it was essentially a video where I was talking about a commentator who did a debate with John Swan, lost so bad that he then went on to delete his entire YouTube and Twitter accounts because, you know, that's what you do when you lose an argument on the internet. You just completely self-destruct and tear your entire channel apart and everything, right? So we are talking about the same guy who was the person in that situation. So the guy who deleted his channel, lost the argument, bad-faithed all of his fucking arguments, and then tried to, you know, YOLO out of the community, he's gone a million times farther this time. It really needs to be talked about, and something needs to be done about it. I also would like to say real quick that this is one of the only videos left in 2021, if not the only video left in 2021, where I am going to be changing the charity that we're raising money from away from Team C's, and instead toward a domestic violence charity. You can donate if you have a few extra dollars down below. There will be a little tab alongside this video that should provide you guys with some sort of option to donate to it. I think it's important to use my platform at this point to raise money for charities like this, especially when I'm talking about a situation so fucked up like this. I feel like if anything can be done positively from a YouTube video like this, I would definitely like to raise money for these types of charities and to provide a little bit of relief in these types of situations. So I'm also going to be making a personal donation to the person who has been affected by all of this as well. Anyway, so if you know who Kai Weiss is, he's had a very kind of tumultuous history here on YouTube and on Twitter and whatnot. It's definitely not been too great, a lot of controversy, and this time around it's way worse. I mean, I guess the best place to start is to just go through the allegations. Now, it is quite a long Twitter thread, so I don't want to go through the entire thing here, and I also will not be showing pictures. And that's actually for a couple of reasons. Number one, I actually don't know if the person who was assaulted by Kai Weiss would be comfortable with me just putting this in a YouTube video. I guess it's a little different sharing it on Twitter on your personal account and having someone with 1 million followers or whatnot on YouTube kind of just plastering it in a video. And then on top of that, number two, I actually don't know how YouTube handles situations like this, so I'm not even sure if I can actually show the images or whatnot in this video without it being taken down for community guidelines or struck for some reason by YouTube. I'm not really sure about the technicalities there. If you would like to see all of the allegations for yourself, I will be linking everything in a Twitter thread down below, so you can go look at that yourself. Essentially what I'm going to do is just kind of cover up everything that happened here in one little swoop here. We're going to talk about the allegations, then we're going to go to Kai Weiss's side because there have been screenshots taken of what he said before he ended up deleting his Twitter account again. Once again, this is his runaway move. This is his, like, ace in the hole. He does this every time. Kai is a one-trick pony. When he faces any sort of criticism or he gets exposed for saying or doing dumb shit, really, because it could be both, he'll defend it adamantly on Twitter in a meltdown and then just delete himself. Because nothing says, hey, I actually didn't do anything wrong, like repeatedly deleting your fucking social media whenever you're actually being lambasted for something that you did. So, to go over what happened here, the allegations suggest that Kai Weiss broke up with his girlfriend or ex-girlfriend Omnia, who is a creator, because Kai Weiss assaulted her repeatedly in their home, and now a protective order has been filed against Kai Weiss because of this, And on top of that, he has then decided, because he had all of Omnia's passwords to her social media, to completely nuke her old Twitter account, nuke her YouTube channel that she uses the revenue from to fund her life and everything. It is her job, kind of like how a lot of creators is. Essentially doing everything that he can to make her life hell now that they've broken up, and he basically beat the shit out of her. She did provide pictures of her face and her arms and whatnot. You can see very visible bruising. It looks like there's some scratches and maybe like some like grabbing and bruising marks and stuff like that. It's really fucking sad, man, because it's very obvious that this seems to be going way farther than what Kai Weiss is actually trying to suggest it was. We'll go over that here in a second. I kind of want to just go through everything chronologically. So Omnia came out with these allegations saying that she was assaulted by Kai Weiss and whatnot because of their breakup or whatever argument that they had. He, on top of that, nuked all of her social media outlets that she uses for her career. He then went on to steal multiple items of hers when he left, which included her iPad and Apple Pencil that she uses to draw, one of her speakers, cat food for her cat, clothing, and much more. It all happened within a week, and apparently the assault that is being reported took place on Friday, December 3rd, and an emergency protective order was filed on the 8th. Now, I just want to go ahead and say here before I go any further that everything that's being alleged against Kai Weiss, I genuinely believe, because he's provided evidence before that he's an absolute fucking loose cannon and that he's a manipulative person. Yes, I know, it's just YouTube drama or whatever, right? The whole John Swan debacle and whatnot that happened, right? Just YouTube drama. But the thing about that, right? The thing about a lot of this YouTube drama and whatnot, you kind of can get a little bit of a glimpse into who these people really are. And when someone, you know, will try to do the shit that Kai is known for doing, it indicates to me that that carries over into your personal life too. If you're one of these people who treats YouTube as some sort of fake persona where you can literally just twist and manipulate people's words to try and make better arguments against them, when you go on complete mental tirades and delete all of your fucking social media accounts, when you constantly play the victim every single time something happens repeatedly, even when all of the evidence suggests that you're not innocent, it kind of shows me that you're a little bit of a fucking psychopath slash loose cannon in real life, right? So if I had to think of anyone that I can imagine actually doing some crazy shit like this, it would be someone like Kai Weiss, who actually goes out of his way to do this insane shit all the time. Now, out of fairness, I do want to show some of Kai's replies to this whole situation because he has a right, I guess, to express his side of the story and whatnot too. Now, the thing is, I'm going to go ahead and just tell you guys right off the jump here, Kai provides absolutely zero evidence for some of the important, or I should say most important claims that he makes. Hint, hint, he claims that he hit her in self-defense, no evidence of that whatsoever. He then goes on to basically defend taking the items from her that he took by saying, well, all this shit I bought, man, you know, I bought these things as gifts for her, so I took them back when we broke up. Which, by the way, might I add, is an absolutely fucking ridiculous thing to say and do. I mean, when you buy somebody something and it's a gift, you no longer own that once you give that to them. That's the general understanding of a situation like that. So to be somebody who takes shit back after, you know, you break up with somebody, like important stuff that you gifted them months before and whatnot, I think that's a little fucking psychotic to me personally. But yes, a consistent issue in our relationship has been me defending myself and accommodating to her emotions. If any of you wondered why I was so angry on Twitter, it's because I was living with her. For once, I finally have some peace in my life. What you're reading is claims that I stole and abused her. What I'm giving is evidence that what she claimed was stolen was items that I bought, and what happened to her was an act of self-defense. Well, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and reply to this now. Okay, so if a consistent issue in your relationship is you have to defend yourself and all this shit that you're saying here, accommodating to all of her emotions and going through all of this crazy shit all the time, and you were just so angry on Twitter that you were ruining your career and being fucking insane and whatnot, why would you not just leave? You know, if it was really that bad and you were under so much stress and emotional volatility all the time and you were being victimized all the time like this, wouldn't the most logical outcome be to just, you know, fucking leave the situation instead of constantly putting yourself through it and dealing with it even more? I mean, that's the outcome I come to, right? Like, if that shit was ow, I just blasted the fuck out of the mic, but if something like that were to happen to me repeatedly, right, I would not continue to put myself in that situation. I would leave. Because at the end of the day, Kai has grown, you know, he has the ability and the right to leave if he needs to, right? He can just go. He's not a 13-year-old under his parents' will or anything, so that point to me doesn't make sense. You don't sit there and deal with it to the point that you have to beat the shit out of someone in self-defense, quote-unquote, and take their shit from them when you leave. You just leave, okay? And you do it peacefully. And once again, you know, he makes this point that, well, I bought all this shit for her, therefore I have the right to take it back, which, I don't know the legality of taking back gifts after you purchased them and whatnot, but morally, I gotta say that that is an absolutely fucking scummy thing to do, okay? I cannot defend that in any way. If you, for instance, if I buy my girlfriend an Apple Watch or something, you know, just fucking anything, right? An Apple Watch. I buy that for her, I give it to her, 6 months later we break up. There is absolutely zero chance that when that breakup happens, that I'm gonna, you know, just walk up in her apartment, take my shit and just fucking leave, right? Take that Apple Watch back. Because if you're one of these people who, you're essentially just admitting that, like, you bought this shit as, like, a trial, right? While you got to use this person and be in a relationship with them, you know, they get those items that you bought them, right? But the moment that that's retracted and that attention is retracted and you've lost that situation in your life, you're suddenly gonna take that shit back now, right? So essentially what your girlfriend is to you, Kai, is a trial period, right? They get some stuff, you know, when they're being good, but when they're being naughty, you know, they're on Santa's naughty list, right? They get their shit fucking taken from them. Yeah, you sound like a great boyfriend, Kai. You sound like the type of person every woman needs in their life. You know, someone who beats the shit out of them in self-defense, quote-unquote, provides no evidence, might I add, okay? There's a whole Google Drive folder full of screenshots of this guy's tweets before he deleted them. Literally not one picture of him posting, you know, some bruises, you know, since she attacked him and it was in self-defense and whatnot. He didn't show any bruises, any marks, any spots where she hit him. He didn't tell anybody how the whole situation unfolded, you know. Oh, she just started beating my ass and I defended my... Nothing, right? He provided zero evidence for these claims, but still made them, right? Because that's what you do. You make boisterous claims like this and then provide literally no fucking evidence for it at all. That's how you handle things, right? And the reason that I actually believe that Kai Weiss did all this, and the reason that I believe that this isn't a lie, this isn't a bunch of bullshit from Omnia here, you know, all the evidence favors her, right? Kai comes out on Twitter, he makes himself sound like a complete douchebag, you know, oh, that was all stuff I bought for her during the relationship, so I took it all back when we broke up. He provided zero evidence of him being assaulted whatsoever, zero evidence that what he did was in self-defense, and I'm gonna be real with you guys here, when you look at this Twitter thread and you see these images for yourself and you see how fucking beat up this poor girl was, it really doesn't look to me like something that's done in self-defense, right? I mean, there's bruises and marks on her face, on her collarbone, on her arms. Like, if it's in self-defense, why the fuck are there so many marks on her but suddenly there's none on you that can be shown? Why is this girl beat to shit and having to file protective orders and whatnot against you with the police, but you have no evidence to provide defending yourself? It's just, hey, take my word for it, please. So, I mean, everything that's come out, it really kind of all really shows that Kai seems to be in the wrong in this situation. He can say whatever he wants until he provides any form of actual evidence for the claims being made. This guy is going to be considered a fucking scumbag by me, and honestly, I think that criminal charges should be filed. There's enough evidence to show he's literally admitted that he put his hands on her, quote-unquote, in self-defense. I mean, this is an easy police case. I mean, this woman takes this to the police, shows everything. It should be a pretty open and shut case, unless he magically pulls up to the police station with all this evidence. Now, that's basically what he's saying now, right? He's like, oh, fuck it, I'm not doing this publicly. Well, let me break this down a little better than just saying what I'm about to say. What happened was, he came to Twitter, he said all this shit, you know, oh, it was self-defense, all this, whatnot, a bunch of hoopla, a bunch of bullshit, basically, right? Provided no evidence for it, and then when everybody started crucifying him in the comments and in the replies, he then basically ran away with his tail tucked between his legs, talking about some, oh, hey, fuck it, I'm just gonna take this to the police and let them handle it privately type of thing. If you really had such a strong case of self-defense and whatnot, and you thought that your public image was gonna be permanently ruined by some false allegations, you would have been run to the police. You would have been already there. You'd have already been fucking filing a report. At least if you're a logical human being. Kai had this tendency of, like, especially even in this situation, he'll say, well, she went to the police and reported a young black man. He basically tries to turn it immediately into a racial issue for some fucking reason, because he can't defend himself with anything else, right? The evidence isn't on his side because there is none. Twitter's not on his side because there's no evidence to defend him with. So he'll run to the race card, right? Oh, she reported a young black man to the police because, you know, there's a lot of issues and debates around like police brutality in African-American communities and stuff like that, right? It's essentially just a cop-out is what it is. I'm just gonna straight up call it for what it is. It's a fucking cop-out. The fact of the matter is, your race has nothing to do with what happened. You fucking assaulted a woman, you took her property, you've acted like a complete fucking asshat and ruined your career. Nobody cares what race you are. If you were Asian, white, Hispanic, it doesn't fucking matter. You could be a rainbow man. I don't give a fuck. People would still have the same opinion of you as they have of you now. It has nothing to do with you being black. And the defense that Kai has gotten from very, very few people has been, well, people were making racial comments toward him and suicide baiting him and all these other things when he was getting criticized. Yeah, you mean the small vocal minority of the community? So because 3 people said racist shit to him on Twitter, apparently everyone else's criticism is now fucking invalid? It's completely idiotic. This is not a situation that has anything to do with race. You beat the shit out of somebody, you have no proof to show it was self-defense, you've shown yourself to be a fucking loose cannon with how you act on social media to begin with. Frankly put, I don't believe you, and there's not much you can do now to prove anything. I mean, you've just been so fucking slimy throughout everything, Kai. And the thing is I know you're watching all these commentary videos about you. I know you're watching this shit because your ego cannot handle this. Your ego cannot handle the criticism. That's why when John Swan bodied you in front of everybody, the first fucking thing you did was play coward, run to Twitter, play victim, and then delete all your social media. And now that you finally fucked up, you put the real nail in the coffin for your career by doing what you just did. Suddenly now, you're trying to play the same fucking move. It's not gonna work this time, Kai. It didn't work last time. It didn't work the time before. It's not gonna work now, man. Get over it, okay? Get over this stupid fucking argument you try to pull, these race cards, all these fucking one-off cards, and just own up to what you did and turn yourself in. I don't see Kai's career ever recovering here on YouTube or really on any social media. He's shown his face and everything, so everyone knows what he looks like. It's a bad situation for Kai, and if criminal charges got filed against him, I'm not saying I would be unhappy about that. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel, follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at @SubToOptimus. Make sure to check out Shop Opti down below. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, well, just stunned. I mean, I shouldn't be, but I am stunned because I can't believe someone would behave this way. And signing out.